You're listening to Errol Parker and Clancy Overall, editors of the Batuta Advocate, on Desert Rock FM.
Hello again, listeners, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Batuta Advocate radio show with myself, Errol Parker, and the man alongside me here at Desert Rock FM today, Clancy Overall.
Yes, hello. Thank you for joining us for another week and yet another interview with an iconic Australian. He's a figure in the sporting arena as well as, just in the headlines, the newspapers. If you're from north of Albury-Wodonga, you definitely know about this man. He represents what Sydney used to be, before the changes in governments and changes in laws and the sterilisation of a once exciting, vibrant part of the world, a bit rough around the edges. It's since kind of died in the arse a little bit, hasn't it, Errol? It's one thing we noticed on the tour, but this man represents everything it used to be.
Dern tootin', Clancy. We've certainly been trying to nab this one for a while, haven't we? He's responsible for the coining of a particular proctological term thanks to his actions on the footy field. Yes,
he is. Very, very famous for his on-field and off-field behaviour. And if that little clue can give it away, then he's the man who is going to lay out poor Gallen this week. We, of course, are talking about the one and only John Hopoate.
The most suspended man in rugby league history and arguably the greatest headline generator the game may ever see. He's taking on the former New South Wales captain Paul Gallen in the ring in a heavyweight bout at the Hordern Pavilion. I think that's on the 8th of February. That has cost Jesus' son, Tim, on the card as well as Queensland great Justin Hodges, who is making his debut, Clancy.
Yes, John kindly decided to give us some of his time. We flew down to his home in the Northern Beaches, in the worst city of the world, just north of the harbour, into the Tongan Quarter at DY, where you'll find Mr. Hopoate. That's where we went down to visit, and we had a lovely yarn about his hallowed rugby league career and what he plans to do to the former Blues skipper Paul Gallen. And we're probably going to stay in this part of the world until the fight. We are lucky enough to land tickets, thanks to Hoppa's team and, of course, Paul Gallen's team, led by George Rose. He's hooked us up, former guest of the show. Either way, Hoppa seems to think that he's going to deal one to Paul Gallen and put him on his ass.
Yeah, he reckons he's going to absolutely turn him off at the wall, Clancy. Hold that power button down on the back of his brain like a frozen laptop. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of Queenslanders who've never forgiven Gallen for all those cheap shots he put on Nate Miles' chin. And we hope Hoppa deals with him accordingly.
Yes. Yeah, Hoppa reckons Gallen might need a mattress because he's going to lay him the fuck out. He's going to put him to sleep. And drum roll, please. Plug alert.
And if he needs a mattress, he should head to Koala and get $150 dues off his next mattress for using the code KNOCKOUT. That's KNOCKOUT for $150 off a mattress from Koala.
Yeah, thanks to Koala for getting behind the show, and what a great lead-in. Thanks for John Hopoate, who sat down with us for a chat. The one you're now about to listen to.
Let's get into it.
Well, here we are with a legend of the Sydney sporting arena, across a number of codes, really. Now boxing, John Hopoate. Thank you for joining us, mate.
Thank you, boys. Thank you for having me on. Yeah,
no, we're excited. You've got a lot going on in the next week. The 8th, you're fighting Paul Gallen.
Yep.
In just over a week's time, it is. Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, they rang me last year. I think it was around September. If I wanted to fight him, and I never say no to anyone. As long as I'm getting paid and my kids are eating, I don't care who I'm fighting. If it means I'm getting my head punched in for 6 rounds, then my head's getting punched in for 6 rounds. As long as my kids can eat, that's all I do it for. It's for the money.
But you reckon you got him?
Oh yeah, I'll bash him.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that I'm going to beat him and beat him easy. But in saying that, heavyweights, you're one punch away from going to sleep. So it doesn't have to be hard, but if it's on the spot, good night.
No, we've seen that in the UFC out there with Bam Bam, Tuivasa, he kind of just copped that one the other day. Yeah. So it is heavyweight, it is like that.
And Bam Bam was going good.
Yeah.
And it's just that one little nick, and it sort of stunned him a bit. And that's it's because he sort of he was all over him,
Yeah.
man. And then
Yeah.
that one, as I said, there's one little hit. Doesn't have to be hard, but
Yeah.
it's on the spot. No matter how big and strong you are.
What are you weighing in at?
I'm 112 at the moment.
112. Do you know what he's at?
He'll be around 1.5, 1.6. I think that's what
Yeah.
he plays at.
Yeah. So there's a bit more coming behind your punches.
Yeah.
You are looking fit though. So
Well,
this is you fit.
Yeah, it was the fittest I've been out of all my fights.
Yep.
Because if there's one thing Gal's going to be, he's going to be fit.
Yeah.
So I had to pick up my fitness. And I've been training hard. But I've got a bit of experience behind me, which makes it a bit easier. Gal, I've got to give it to him. He's jumped in the ring. In rugby league, he's a tough player, good player, a player that I'd have in my team any day of the week because he's just one of them players just doesn't take crap. But he's jumped into boxing now. He's had a few fights, but he's fought guys who've never fought before.
Yeah.
Out of the soup kitchen.
Yeah, well, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
all these guys have never fought before. So,
Yeah.
they've picked me thinking, because I've been out of the ring for 6 to 8 years, that, I'll be pretty much an easy target. And it's good for him for a stepping stone and, make his way up. They haven't done their homework because I've been sparring. Even though I haven't been in the ring, I spar every Saturday.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the game, but not actually fighting, but I'm still in the game. I'm still sparring. I'm sparring guys like Bowie Tippo and Solomon Imano, Kerry Foley. These guys are so pretty much good fighters. So I'm sort of still in there. And I think by them picking me, it's going to be an easy target. It won't be.
So how many fights have you had up until now?
I've had, I think I've had 15, 16
few,
fights.
yeah.
In the ring.
In the ring.
Yeah.
Not against my wife. I've had about 1,000, never won one. So, but in the ring, 15.
Yeah, right.
So there was. We were just talking about it before. You said about 8 years since you were in the ring. There was an undercard for Mundine.
No, the last fight I had was an MMA fight.
Yeah, right.
It was an MMA fight. So I lost out on points.
Yeah.
That's a tough gig.
Yeah.
I trained 2 weeks for it, and my fitness was terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, I stunned the bloke 3 times in the first round, but I just could not finish him off. I was just too unfit.
Yeah.
We went to the ground. We rolled around, wrestling, and we stood up. That was like in the first minute of the fight. When we stood up, I was sort of gone. I was gone.
Yeah.
Because the fitness is completely different. It's just a completely different arena.
It does look a lot easier than what it looks, Like it just kind of looks like there's two blokes having a bit of a tussle on the floor, but like every muscle's working.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's different fitness. Wrestling and stand-up boxing is completely different. And, I did, as I said, I only trained 2 weeks, and we went to the ground after a minute. When we stood back up,
Right.
I was toasted.
So tell us, when you were playing footy and you were playing, 80 minutes of an Origin decider, how does that compare, walking off the field after that, compared to walking out of a full fight?
It doesn't compare because you got 12 other players out there helping you out. So when you're doing it a bit tough, you might just jump on the wing like I did and have a break.
Yeah.
And then the other guys take the ball up for you or tackle for you. Where in the ring, it's only you.
Yeah.
The only one to save you is either your ring throwing the towel in or the ref stopping it. So you're by yourself, and the fighting game's completely different to the rugby league. All great athletes, but it's just completely different.
Yeah. And what was that fight, undercard for Mundine? That would have been one of your earlier
That was
ones,
my first fight.
Yeah,
First fight, that was the Mundine Danny Green fight.
Yeah, right.
My first fight, I stopped the guy in the first minute.
Yeah, I remember that.
Frank Farsolo, his name was, who'd had a few fights. And that was my first fight, and I was lucky enough to stop him in the first round.
Yeah.
But, it's a tough gig, as I keep saying.
Now, can you tell us, Gal and you appear to have somewhat a frosty relationship, particularly over the last few weeks. Has this been a thing that's kind of existed in the background, or did the shit talk started as the fight got announced?
I've known Gal because he captained New South Wales, and I've known my son played with Gal, under Gal. He's a good bloke, but we're in fighting, and I'm not going to be your mate if I'm going to try and knock your head off.
Yeah.
So we probably after the fight we'll shake hands and forget about it. But right now, I'm there to win and I'm there to bash Gal, and he's not my mate at the moment.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to fight him. The friendship. There's no friendship until whoever will win, but until the game's over.
Yeah, because after that, the mundane fight with him and Horn, he came out and said it was all hype. All the argy-bargy that they had at the weigh-in and all of that was all for show, just to get a bit of publicity. How much of that do you reckon is true?
Yeah, well, there a fair bit of it. You got to hype it up a bit so people can come to the fight. But as you're at the start, it's sort of friendly. But as you're going and you're getting close to the fights, that friendship sort of gets out the window because you're about to take my head off. I'm not going to be your mate. You're about to take my head off.
Yeah.
So even though we are sort of mates, but I still want to bash him and win the fight, and there is no sort of friendship at the moment.
Yeah.
Now you like you said, it was 8 years ago since you were in the ring, and like you've been in the public eye for quite a while. How old were you when you started playing professional football? Because for someone who's just be tuning into this fight, they could think that you're 60 years old, but you're not. You're young, you're fit. We're looking at you now, but you must have been in your teens when you started.
I was 18.
Yeah,
I was
right,
18 when I played first grade.
Okay.
What, and that was back in 2001?
Yeah. My Tongan passport was back in 1970, but my Australian passport says I was born in 74.
Yeah, right.
So it was 93 was my first grade game. That was a very long time ago.
Because you put on such a
great.
stamp on the game that, it felt like you'd been there forever.
Yeah, well, I've been retired now from footy for about 14 years. Or the NRL retired me 14 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And I'm still getting hammered, and I'm still in the public eye.
Yeah.
Where most guys who've retired at the same time as me, unless they're on Fox Sports or like Matty Johnson, where people are seeing him all the time.
Yeah.
You're just out of the picture. No one knows. Yeah, no one knows who you are.
It doesn't help that you've got some pretty handy sons. They're pretty good at footy.
Yeah, it's true, but but I still get a bit of publicity.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's bad. But in a good sense, people still know who I am, and I still get a lot of free stuff, and I'll take any free stuff there is, because when you got 11 kids, you take anything for free, and people still know who I am, so I'm still getting discounts here and there, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you just like to go about your job or whatever you do during the day without people noticing you and stopping you and talking about fighting or football.
So 10 kids.
11.
11 kids. You must have almost been...
I was 17.
17, right. So the kids became before the footy.
Yeah. I was 17 when I had Will.
Yeah.
At the time, I thought it was the worst thing I'd done, but it's the best thing I'd done.
Yeah.
Having killed... Me and Will and my second one, Jamil, we go places with my boys, and they think I'm one of the brothers.
Yeah.
But it's just the best thing I do. I've grown up with the kids.
Yeah.
I haven't been where you see some families where the dads are too old and the kids are too cool for your dad because they're just too old. And
Barnaby Joyce, that kind of thing.
yeah, like that. You're too old and you look like a grandpa than a dad. And I was happy I did what I did. Even though I should have stopped now, but my youngest is 8 months. And that was out of the blue because my number 10 is 6. And so I was firing away there for 4 or 5 years and nothing was happening. So I thought I had Christmas balls and you're there for decoration, but they still work.
Let's go back to the NRL retiring you prematurely, you think?
Yeah, well, I did that tackle. I think I
Galloway?
On Galloway. I think I was... I should have played in the 70s where if I did that tackle back in the 70s, I would have been carried off as a hero instead of being sent off as a villain. It was a tackle that went wrong. There was no intention to hurt. There was intention to hurt him, but not in the way that it happened. I wasn't trying to go to take his head off. No one intentionally tries to really hurt someone and get sent off and lose his contract and finish his career.
Oh, there was nothing in it.
Yeah, well, it's a split second. If I just didn't jump as high, it would have been a perfect shoulder charge.
Well, it sounds like your lawyer didn't do a good job at the tribunal then. He fucked you.
Yeah, I got smashed. Got 18 weeks. So
Fuck, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. It is a long time. So I thought I'll get a bit less. I thought I'll get like 8 to 10. And that's the winner. That's the last shoulder charge I ever done.
Now, the first fight we ever saw you in was against Matty Singh, wasn't it?
Oh,
Origin.
Yeah.
Origin. I tried to get Matty Singh because he was smaller. But then Danny Moore, who was my centre partner at Manly, came in to try and stop it. But he had a maroon jersey on, and come Origin time, I hate maroon jerseys.
Yeah.
And so he's a good mate of mine, Danny, and he came to try and stop the fight. But it just was the wrong time. It was just the wrong time, wrong place. And
There were a couple brother-in-laws playing each other that fight, because that was one of the biggest scraps we've ever seen.
Yeah, that was in Melbourne that time. And as I said, Danny's a real good bloke, but it was the wrong time and just had the wrong jersey on. I just saw red and just started punching him.
Well, that's the thing. And we can thank Gallen for the reason that they're not allowed to throw closed fists in the state of origin anymore, can't we?
Yeah, it's almost like a couple of bouncers just having a fight, with open palms.
Yeah,
Bang, bang,
it's
bang,
crap.
bang, bang.
It's crap. Boys will be boys. You have a fight, let him fight. No one gets hurt because no one knows how to throw the punch properly.
Yeah.
Just let him punch on. That's the loudest the crowd cheers when there's a fight.
Yeah.
You don't hear no one ever complains about it after the game. Says, that was no good for the game because they had a fight.
Except
Everyone loves it.
It tends to turn the game into like another gear as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the only people who don't like it usually are journalists
Yeah, the journalists.
who haven't actually had a game of rugby.
Yeah, have never had a fight before.
Yeah, and they've never been in a fight before.
But the fans love it. And that's all as soon as the game's over, that's all they talk about. It's the fight. How good was that fight? How good was that fight? But the journalists and the guys that sort of run the game have never laced a pair of boots on, but know how to do. Yeah, they're good at bringing revenue in, but they wouldn't have a clue about what the players have to do and on the field.
Now, you 200 games in the NRL.
Yeah, I think it was 214 or something.
214.
It's a lot of games.
Yeah, so you had a hell of a career there, including matches you played for Tonga as well.
Yeah, well, I could have been in the 300.
Yeah.
With the 300, with all this, I got 40-something from the NRL suspensions.
Yeah.
Manly gave me 20.
Yeah, right.
Just internal ones. So it's like there's 60 games there.
Yeah.
And
You could have played more games than the Crushers, mate.
yeah, and them in the Adelaide Rams.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have hit the 300 mark, but all them suspensions didn't. And me and Will, I would have retired in 2008 when they won their comp.
Yeah.
I would have been 34. And Will would have been at the club. He would have been under 20, so we would have been the first father and son playing at the same club at the same time. So he would have been playing in the 20s.
LeBron. Would have been like LeBron with his little fellow making his way to LA.
Yeah, so, and it would have happened, but the NRL didn't like that. So
Yeah.
they kicked me out of the game.
Oh, you've done a lot of marketing for the game, even with the suspensions.
Yeah, well, with that finger thing, I took the game global.
Yeah.
All I was doing was raising awareness for prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Prostate cancer is the biggest killer of men.
Yeah, I think that's
All I was doing was checking. I was going for my degree as a doctor, and because I was playing footy, didn't have no time there. I did all my practical on the field.
Yeah.
And I took the game global, and the NRL should have paid me. Instead of suspending me. But people in India were coming up calling me, the finger man. And even people in India knew what rugby league because of me. So they should have been thanking me instead of suspending me.
If only David Gallup knew that.
Yeah, that's right. But as I was saying, I was raising awareness for prostate cancer, and as it's the biggest killer for men at the moment. But I didn't like it.
How many suspensions did you get for that? Because the NRL wouldn't have really known how to navigate around that particular foul.
They didn't. Well, they gave the version I got 12 weeks, but the video they sent me, it looked like I was just giving a wedgie. So I went in there saying, no, it was a wedgie. And then when I got in there, then they hit me with 12 different angles of me poking my finger. Yeah, and just smashed me. And I just went, oh crap! So I just put the white flag up and said, I'm gone here. But there's that same field. They said that's the only video we got for you. They gave me one version. It was a crap version. But that same field, a year later, I got headbutted and my nose was bleeding. It was in a scrum, and the only version they had was wide lens, was right where up in the sky,
up in the bird nest,
and no one could see any, couldn't even see the scrum. But that's the only version they had at that time. But the ref said I got kneed, and I was bleeding. But that's the only version NRL found. So,
do you reckon there's anyone who probably deserved more? Like, did you ever play with anyone who probably should have deserved to be banned more?
Yeah,
you know, like
they did better than you politically with the game.
Oh, I don't know, but I know there was a couple of things that, what's his name, McDougall did a tackle, which was like mine. It was like a couple of weeks after my one. He got nothing.
Yeah.
Or fucking.
You probably just couldn't hear it from the commentary box.
Adrian Morley too.
Adrian Morley, yeah, but I liked Adrian because he's just a tough bastard.
Yeah.
And he did go there to hurt someone, but not intentionally try to take him out completely. Well, I can't say no one should have got what I should have got, but I thought I got treated a bit different than everyone else.
Yeah.
Not saying because of my colour, but I think it was just because just the person I was colourful character, and that they didn't want that in the game.
Yeah. And you kind of been in the headlines, I guess, for 20 internal suspensions.
for everything. So.
Now, you live in DY. There's a big Tongan community in DY.
Yes.
Have you always been up that way?
Yes, I've always been around. So I've been DY, Narrowina, but always been around the same area.
Yeah, right.
I've grown up here. We moved out Campbelltown when I was 14. Then Manly got me back when I was 16. It was lucky they did get me back because I would have been locked up, 100% been locked up. I was hanging in the wrong crowd and doing dumb things that you shouldn't be doing and what teenagers do. And I was happy they got me back, and I was happy that I got married when I was 18. So that was another blessing in disguise, because if I didn't, as I said, I would have been inside. Yeah. And there would have been no John Hopoate in the NRL. I wouldn't be the person I am now if I never got married and Manly never got me back.
Yeah, right.
Out of Campbelltown.
Yeah. So have you seen any other Tongan guys come up through like the actual Northern Beaches to play for Manly?
Yeah, as I said, my son. There's been a fair few Islanders come through, but they just. One thing about us Islanders is the training is not a big, makeup. We're not too good at training. We're getting better at it. It's more like the second, third generations have grown up here that are getting, they're just grown up in the system. But when I come through, there was me, Solomon Imano, Ruben Wiki. It was like, it was under 10 of us, I think. But now there's 68% in the juniors at Islanders. Right. But I've seen a few come through and they just couldn't make that next step. Talent, great talent, a lot better than what I was, but just talent can only get you so far. You've got to be able to train. And, I'm lucky my boys, I don't have to push my boys to train.
Will's pretty disciplined.
Yeah, he's very disciplined.
Yeah.
To go and do that sabbatical that he did, you got to be disciplined to do something like that. I just had another son who just returned of his sabbatical a week ago. I didn't go. I didn't fit none of the criteria. I was just.
Were you raised Mormon?
Yeah, I was raised Mormon, but I was just no good.
A lapsed Mormon.
I wasn't a very good Mormon there for a while, and they just, I never fit the criteria where. Will is just a good kid. He's always been a good kid. Yeah,
you said that. I remember you said that in interviews as well. You were the crash test dummy.
Yeah.
And then your boy's now the safe model.
Yeah. Well, and my motto is do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
So I do all the dumb stuff. Yep. You guys don't follow what I'm doing because it gets you nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's more like me just being who I am, and then they look at it and go, "Oh, I want to be like Dad. Yeah. I want to be better than Dad." And that's what I want him to be.
Well, it's a multifaceted family, the Hopoate. Now, any of your daughters playing?
Yeah, I've got a daughter that plays league as well.
Yeah.
She's 14. Yeah. 13, she plays in the 16s. And she goes all right. So hopefully she's got a future there. One plays basketball and surfs, and the other one just looks at herself in the mirror all day. So that's about it.
She might make the most money out of all you, though.
she's our babysitter.
Now, you said you want to get these blokes that gave you your final suspension in the ring after Gal.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love them to be my next opponents after Gal.
All four at the same time, you reckon?
All four at the same time. And I'd whip all four of them.
Yeah.
Because I went in there, had my spiel ready. They already had their verdict because they said go outside. I was outside for 5 minutes, come back and had a 4-page typed up verdict. And you don't have that ready in 5 minutes.
No.
Yeah, they hammered me for that. 10 years.
You had another one, another sensational moment, another good bit of marketing for the game when you were playing for Manly and you got caught playing 5th grade rugby union.
Yeah, well,
Was that just to help out some mates?
Well, it was, and I was only 5th grade. There was 5th grade rugby, but the problem was the team that we played were coming first, and the team I played for were coming like second last or third last.
Right.
Played Manly on the Sunday, then there was a public holiday on the Monday, so I went and played for these guys.
It was 2003, yeah.
Yeah, I had a headgear on, thinking I'll be sweet. They won't know who I am. I had it.
Playing 5th grade union
From 1st grade to
from first grade NRL to like crash tackling bankers and shit, and fucking doctors. And
I think they would have known who you were.
Law students.
Well, I thought that the headgear would cover me, but I think my big jaw gave that away. And because I set up the winning try, I made a bit of a bust, and I just offloaded and we scored on the hooter.
How much experience had you? In union?
Well, I played rugby when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But the league manager, they caught me once. But I played rugby every year. I played 1st grade. I played in all the Tongan tournaments. I played every year, but I never told Manly. That's the only one they called me, only because that team lost. But I played every year and I never got caught. So I can say it now because I'm retired.
Yeah. And Jock Watmo said that as well. He says that in an interview the other day, post with Hello Sport. He was saying, I can say it now. He goes, I was out in the cross every night. He goes, they told me not to, but I was out there just because I knew if they caught me, then someone else was out there, so they'd have to own up.
Well, that's right. and Chock's telling the truth there because I worked in the cross and I used to see him there all the time.
You weren't the rat. Now, you were just saying before, what would be the most kind of dominant code in Tonga? Is it league or union?
It was rugby,
up
until the World Cup in 2017, where Jason Taumalolo, Andrew Feet, all these big names made the shift over to Tonga, and Tonga's has gone bananas over league, and it's the first time the government have gave money to league.
Yeah, right.
Because before that they gave nothing. It was all for the rugby, and rugby is our number one game.
Yeah.
But now rugby's on the back burner, and leagues just gets everything. Leagues is picked up like all the, we've got supporters all around, even in America. When the World Cup was on, the Tongans from all around America watching.
What are they saying? Hey, docs.
Hey, docs, that's it.
Because in order to make any money in union, you've got to head over to Europe, and that's it's a bit of a dump.
And
it's cold.
But you've got to go via Australia as well. Where
in league you can come to Manly and earn a good crust.
If you're good enough. If you're good enough. Rugby was always the number one code up until 2017.
You would have played a big part in that too. You kind of you would have encouraged a lot of young Tongan kids to start playing league, and then
Well, I don't know how much I had input. Like the players, I sort of asked them to come back, but money. Loyalty does not pay your bills. I go have my loyalties with Tonga, but if I'm getting no money and my kids are not eating, I'm going to jump to Australia. So it was a massive move for these guys and all the money they were missing out on. But it was lucky because these guys were on massive contracts with their clubs, so it made it easier. Where the test matches and that didn't really, even though it would have been good to have that money, but they're really making really good money.
There's been a lot of defections. Like in the last, since 2017.
Well, especially for us, like all them boys that play Fusitua, Taukeaho, Solomon Nakata, all these guys are first graders playing for their clubs and playing for New Zealand. They've all just jumped ship and come back to us. And now they're getting paid a wage now and getting money.
Yeah.
For their last test, they got $5,000.
Yeah.
And it's not as good as...
It's flights.
Yeah, well, $5,000's not as good as $20,000, but I'll take $5,000 to play with my own.
Yeah.
Get $20,000 to play with the Australians.
Yeah.
Which I've got nothing against Australians. Great blokes, but it's just not the same when you play with your own kind. Like us as Tongans, we laugh at anything and everything, and we don't. Everything's just like a joke to us. We just like it's probably not good to say, but if someone kicks a dog, we laugh. Where to a white man, oh, you can't kick a dog. That's our pet.
Yeah.
Where we will kick a dog and we will laugh.
Sense of humour.
Sense of humour.
Yeah. I mean, training must be so fun for those guys when they head over to
Well, it is. And even our coach said, the way we are, you could never do this at an NRL club because we're so laid back and just... But we know when you switch on and when training, we know it's training. But then after this era, you wouldn't even know we're there to play a game because we just joke and muck around the whole time.
Yeah, just imagine if you went from the Broncos home to Apia and then like you'd been there with Wayne Bennett. You know, it's just the most humourless, straight-laced bloke saying, "Don't kick my dog," and then you go over time.
But in saying that, I can't talk. I've never played under Wayne, but everyone that's played under Wayne really likes the bloke.
Yeah. No, he's great, and he's particularly good with wild young kids.
Yeah, well, he loves the wild ones. He brings a lot of them in because he gives them an opportunity. But everyone that I've heard that played under Wayne, they all love him.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't. I don't think Wayne likes the media, so he just comes with his straight face and doesn't give a crap about them. But he's completely different when he's with the players.
Yeah.
So who else can you see kind of on the out of the players now that could potentially make a bit of a fighter? You reckon? Have the Fafitas, any of those boys had a fight?
No. I wouldn't be saying Fafita be a good fighter. I think my 6-year-old just beat Fafita.
Bam Bam reckons he could take them both at once.
Well, Bam Bam can take a lot of people on at once. But I couldn't really tell you, because
unless you see him in the ring.
Unless you see him in the ring, But most footy players go all right once they're taught because they're in a contact sport, so they sort of pick it up pretty quick and they love having a dig, and they're not scared to have a dig. And it's like Gal, he's had 8 fights, but you can't bag anyone that's jumped in the ring.
Yeah, for
sure. There's a lot of armchair boxers out there who know everything. But
particularly when Mundane's fighting.
They know everything, but they will never jump in the ring.
Yeah.
So I can't give it.
There's Sonny Bill, because you say the same thing. Gal's fighting people that haven't really had a fight before, and Sonny Bill did a bit of that. Can you actually see a fighter in him?
Yeah. Well, Sonny's a heavyweight. I think he's good, but he's got to stop trying to fight like Chock, because he's nowhere near as quick as Chock. He hasn't got Chock style. Sonny is a great build for a boxer. He's tall. He's got the length. He's got the reach. But I think he's just got to. If he doesn't try and, because when he first started, because he's so good mates with Chock, he was trying to fight like Chock, but I don't think it suits him. But I still think he'd be a good fighter if he changed his style.
Well, mate, what do you think's going to happen? What are your predictions for the match? What round?
Mate, I'm saying it's going to be early.
Yep.
It's got to be. I'm going to finish him off early.
Yep.
Because the longer it goes, it might be better for him because he's so fit. And he's never really been hit before, and he's been stunned a couple of times. But the guys that he has fought didn't know how to finish it off because they were sort of just new in the game, and they weren't boxing fit, in which they sort of just went backwards instead of coming forward trying to finish him. And I think that Joseph Paulo, that he fought from Canberra, the prop, he should. If he was a bit fitter, he would have beat Gal.
Yeah, right.
I think he would have beat Gal, but it's just because he wasn't boxing fit.
Yeah.
He was footy fit, but he wasn't boxing fit. But I think I'll beat Gal early.
You're going to come out explosive.
Yeah, and plus I got a charity match the next day in Cherbourg, a charity footy match in Cherbourg.
Oh, right. So you're flying the next day.
So after I finish, I want to try and save my energy. I'll bash Gal for finish him off early and save all my energy for the next day because I got a charity match.
Are you fighting in Cherbourg?
No, it's not a fight. I'm playing footy.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so they can't stop me. Well, it's Australia. We have Australian legends where all the ex-players get together and we travel the countrysides and play the best of that country town. So we're going to Cherbourg.
And Renoff's just not from there, is he? He's from Mergen next door. But
is it? Oh, I don't know.
There'll be some legends out there, though.
Yeah, so and we do a few. We do like 67. We do like 67 of them a year, and we love it. And it's all for charity. So as I said, I'll finish Gal off early and save my energy for the game the next day. And they can't stop me playing in these games because it's charity. So I'm allowed to play in them.
And then a couple of days later, you'll be playing 5th grade down there in Narrabeen somewhere.
For the Marlins.
Yeah. Or the Rats.
Or the Rats. I'm a Marlins man, so I'll be playing for the Marlins.
Righto.
Thanks for joining us, John. All the best.
No, thank you, boys, and thank you for having me on your show.
No worries, mate. Good luck.
Thank you.
He's coming for you, Gal.
Now, that was John Hopoate. Very kind of him to do the interview with us, and actually quite an open book. Wasn't he, Errol? There wasn't much he didn't want to bring up or talk about, which is what we appreciate that in our guests.
No, he certainly didn't hide behind that big red flat cap of his. He bared his soul for us, Clancy, and indeed the people of the Channel Country. I'm sure they appreciate everything he told us, and I'm sure the entire state of Queensland is behind John.
Yes, he used to terrorise us back in the 90s, state of origin era, but he's been out of the game for a while, and he's about to knock out, hopefully, but possibly not. But either way, he's going to be throwing punches at the former Blues captain that we all remember much more recently.
Yep. Well, we're just coming up to the top of the hour here, so we're going to have to bid you farewell for another week. Until next time, my name is Errol Parker. Stay out of the pokies. Never talk to the police without legal counsel present. They're not your friends. They will ruin your life.
And I'm Clancy Overall. You be kind to each other.